puts himself.
And we are live. Welcome everyone to the Afterburn Soccer Show. My name is Nathan. You can follow me at Nathan J Hill, and of course at afterburn.soccer, or the Afterburn Soccer Twitter. And with me is my buddy Jose. You can follow him at El Chico Carmona. Welcome
Hello,
back,
everybody.
Jose. Glad you're feeling better. Been a lot of bugs going around in this time of year, But hey, you got to rest when you get hit. But we're back to talk about Leagues Cup. Leagues Cup is underway, and it's an interesting. It's the second year of this Leagues Cup, and it's growing on me a bit. Just partly because I like seeing Liga MX's teams sort of get run over a little bit by MLS teams. It feels a little bit nice, although it's early season for them.
It's CCL in reverse. I mean, all
Right.
the complaints that we have now they apply. Now they have to apply. Oh, but we're in preseason. We're in early season form. You don't seem to mind when MLS is in early season and late preseason form. So
Yeah.
tables are turned. I love it.
Yeah, it is. It is a nice little change of pace on that. But we're going to get into it. We're going to talk about FC Dallas and North Texas soccer and just how FC Dallas got things started. They really needed that week off, I felt, too. They've just been playing the gauntlet of games, really having to turn to a lot of young players, a lot of guys off the bench to sort of get through games. It hasn't always been pretty, but the team is hanging in there, hovering around the that last playoff spot. But Leagues Cup gives them a chance to sort of reset a little bit, maybe rotate, rest some guys, but also maybe make a run in this tournament. And as they visited St. Louis City on Saturday, however, that did not start off with the bang. As well, for those folks joining us, there was a wonderful goal. I'm going to play it again here in a second. It's just as we talk about it, Sam Hunka getting the first Leagues Cup goal for FC Dallas of this campaign. Beautiful sequence of play, beginning with a pass from Ibiaga, a well-handled ball from Musa in the air to Paul Arriola, who just a perfect pass. Just shout out to Paul Arriola for his resurgence of play as of late. But unfortunately, Musa would miss a penalty kick that would have been a 2-1 lead for FC Dallas, and St. Louis got awarded a penalty kick and were able to slot it home.
Soft, man. That was soft as it gets. Home cooking. But at the end of the day, I know we're all not happy with the result, but let's face it. At the end of the day, FC Dallas missed their PK. St. Louis made their PK. That is the difference. That's all that separates these two teams. And I prefer that FC Dallas lose on the road this way than bunker to death and just get slowly ground to a halt. I mean, they were pushing for that tie and it didn't come through.
Mm-hmm.
But I honestly, some tactical changes here, but here and there might have made a difference. But let's face it, it's the Juarez game at home that you gotta win. And resting a guy like Ilara and some of these other players and Leggett is the smart move if you are serious of advancing in this game, in this tournament.
Yeah, this was a hard one, and I saw some reaction from some of the guys on Twitter and stuff that were just like, "Hey, we're not devastated by this loss as much as maybe another match." I mean, the way form has just not been there for FC Dallas yet to win a game on the road this season. It's an issue for the team that they're putting some energy out there, they're putting effort out there, but there are either moments, and that's something that Peter Luxon talked about, interim FC Dallas head coach, after the match, that just comes down to some moments when the team could have been a little more precise in passing, a little more careful on the ball, just to keep the ball, to take the air out of the game a little bit. And that it's that razor thin of a margin sometimes in this sport. But I agree with you, Jose. That penalty call, the first penalty call, which is in FC Dallas's favor, was clear clearest handball, the easiest call for a ref to make. But that second one, I just didn't see a lot of contact. Maybe they didn't see a clear and obvious means to overturn it, so that once it was called, they didn't want to not call it. But it wasn't a penalty for me.
I
And
didn't think so. Didn't
FC
think so either.
Dallas brought on a lot of young guys, a lot of late on in the game. It was kind of a mess tactically. It was just, hey, let's hoof the ball forward and hope somebody makes something happen. And with Musa up there, he's a good target, but it just was lacking a lot. St. Louis was able to sort of clamp things down late to keep the win. So if there's a silver lining to this match, to this performance, I know Musa did not maybe have the best game of his FC Dallas career so far, missing the penalty kick, and a couple other chances which he probably should have done better on.
Yeah, he missed
Um,
that one beautiful pass from Paul Arriola that landed on his feet, and he just miscontrolled it.
mhm.
And I mean, he got the shot off, but it was a very straightforward shot. He had two shots that were right at the keeper, so I mean, he had his chances. He just sometimes it doesn't go your way. But he did take quite a few shots, and unfortunately was unable to convert. I'll tell you what the silver lining in this game is, and it's the one thing that if anyone's listened to me chat, on chats and stuff, I've been saying is rotation, rotation, rotation. We need to see what other players can do, and we got that. We got Hunqua over at left wing. We got Saint starting at D mid. We got Farrington getting more valuable minutes, and then off the bench you had Pondeka and Scott getting valuable minutes. These are players who performed well, some performed above expectations. I'm talking about Saint. I'm talking about Hunka over in scoring that beautiful goal, and he was dangerous going forward. And you know what? This is something that's they need to do going forward. They need to see what these people can do. They need to see them get minutes. This is development. This is what this team needs to do. They need to develop those players, give them minutes so that when they are needed later in the season, they will not be overwhelmed. They won't be nervous. They'll be a little more consistent. Uh, excellent, excellent building. This is what you need to do in Leagues Cup. You need to give those players their minutes and build them up, and you're seeing that right now.
Mhm. Yeah, I wasn't able to get the clip, but I did ask uh, Peter Luxon after the match just about sort of that Carl Sante, I think, had his one of his best games so far in an FC
He had
Dallas jersey.
his best game in a FC Dallas shirt. I mean, it
Yeah.
has it's not even close.
And we're not saying that the guy was all-star quality or any of that, or
No,
that he was perfect, but for a young guy adjusting to this level, having earned a lot of minutes in North Texas over the past year and a half or so, uh, they had to turn to him, and he came through. He played a pretty competent game, and
yeah,
it's good for him to build off of that. So even in the midst of a loss, to get some quality minutes from these young guys, and the more I see from Tariq Scott, I know he's been just last season was unfortunately he went out early in preseason with a really tough injury. And was out for the year, but he's been great with North Texas. He's been just a level above, and so, your ask for him in these games is not, again, not to come in and be the hero, but just to make things happen. And he earned a PK, uh, in against New England, I think. And
yeah.
he just come in, make some things happen, link up with your guys, and bring some energy. And I think Peter Luxon has been happy with what these young guys have
He,
come in to
he's
do.
the mirror version of Mulatto, because remember Mulatto was in that world team, that
Hmm.
Bayern World team. He won it. He made it. Got signed to FC Dallas, to North Texas, balled out there, and just simply could not make the jump to FC Dallas. Tariq Scott was also in that world team, except he didn't make it. Signs with North Texas, and has actually shown he can make the jump to FC Dallas. This kid looks like the real deal. Even if you're just giving him junk minutes, uh, absolutely huge for a kid like that to get his feet wet, get caught up to this speed of this game at this level, and he's blending in. And how exciting for FC Dallas to have two young strikers, three technically, coming up. You know, behind Musa, behind Jesus when he comes back. You're gonna have Farrington. You're gonna have Kamungo and Tariq Scott all coming up. I mean, that's exciting. That's something. If this team wasn't as banged up as they are, these guys would be money down the line, and gives you hope for the future. In all honesty, gives you hope for the second half of the season. In all honesty,
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a quiet summer transfer window, so you like some of these guys who are deeper on the roster to step up and take the minutes and opportunities that come. Although reinforcement, well, I talked about him last week. Show Mufana from coming from Israel, an interesting, a sorely needed midfielder, defensive midfielder. Maybe the team is just really thin right now, but it's going to take a little bit for Show to get here, get his green card, go through all that process, and also begin to practice and train with the team. But guess who is training with the team? Let me pull up. Oh, it's been a long time. Alan Velasco. We are excited to see FC Dallas release some footage of Alan Velasco kind of joining the team for general training. Hard to predict maybe when he makes his debut, but it could be Wednesday. It could be maybe he maybe he
I'm
comes on as a sub, late. But
I'm okay with him basically just, oh, there's Ferrer too. So that's a dual opponents right there. Uh, I'm okay if they don't play at League's Cup. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if FC Dallas wants to make the playoffs, a healthy Velasco and a healthy Jesus Ferreira would go a long way towards making that possible. Um,
mhm,
I would hope I would be okay with them getting like some 10 15 minutes, but I don't want to see them starting. I don't want to see them playing a full half.
yeah,
Uh, Make it light. I mean, get them on the bench, and if you absolutely need them, you play them or you give them some junk minutes. But I honestly, I'd rather they are 100% healthy or as close to 100% as they possibly can be. But
yeah. That
exciting,
is,
yes, exciting to see them.
yeah. And Jesus, and his hamstring has been an issue, but boy, the team could have used him this past weekend. So yeah, let's not rush him. It's okay to be cautious, and yet, yeah, give him 5-10 minutes at the end of the game, maybe if you feel like he's ready. Uh,
Well, keep in mind though. I mean, these are guys that will help this team's depth issue significantly. I mean, even if they don't start, having a guy like Jesus coming in when you need a goal or you're looking for a game winner, that's a great thing to have. Velasco can play at the attack and midfield position, and since we're very thin at midfield right now, that's a huge welcome right now.
mhm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, and I mean, at this point, it looks like Liam Fraser is a long term injury. That it's if
Yeah,
he's
and
back, maybe for the playoffs would be the earliest, and even that, I'm not sure that that's very confident. But
and that makes this show signing so important because show, if he can give us what Frazier gave us last year around this time, that'd be more than enough. He as long as he comes in, he doesn't have to be a baller. He doesn't. Let's remember that Frazier didn't really stand out last year, but he also wasn't an anchor or didn't do anything bad. He was just solid. He didn't stand out. He wasn't sexy at all, but he did the work. And if Show can come in and give us something similar to that, I don't need to be impressed by the guy. He just has to give us quality minutes.
mm,
And his background, I know we all chirp on Ansa and his play coming from that same league, but Show simply has a better pedigree all around. National team player for his country. He's played in Champions League qualifying. He's played in Europa League. He's played in Conference League, and he's played in some major games in other European leagues. So eh, his background is simply his pedigree is much better than Ansa's, and like I said, if he gives us solid minutes, that's all you can really ask for someone coming in
Mhm.
midseason.
Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah, I've said it. Time is FC Dallas's friend right now, just to get guys healthy, get guys off that injury chart and in the mix, and that just takes time. It takes time with these players, and so Leagues Cup, yeah, maybe you got to win at home. You got to win at home against this Wednesday night against FC Juarez. And I think the players will be up for it. They'll be up to put out a different performance than what we saw on Saturday night, a little more complete performance. But overall, you want to get some guys healthy as you pick up league play eventually, so that you can make a push for the playoffs. And since they're in the conversation now, a few weeks ago we were not in the conversation for. We were thinking, hey, let's sell guys,
A few
let's
weeks
play.
ago, we were looking at the worst start at the worst season in league in this franchise history.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
we've come a long way since then.
a long way since then. Well,
This
and
this FC Juarez though, since you brought them up, I just want to point out that they come in. They have yet to win a game this year, and three of those games they've played at home in their own backyard.
mm,
And so this is a team that comes in struggling. I believe they have two losses and a draw at home. And mind you, they've played some tough teams. Not to say that their schedule has been soft, but still, you got a team that's in early season form, comes in reeling, struggling. FC Dallas, this is a must win for them, and I think it'd be pretty unacceptable, even if it's a draw. That would be a pretty huge disappointment. We gotta put this team to the sword, and I'd like to see this team win, not just win, but win emphatically.
yeah, and there was I think some folks saying that if FC Dallas can win by 2 goals, that should be enough, um, depending on the St. Louis Warriors result, to be able to advance. I think for further play.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I will just take a win. In all honesty, take a win. Um, I don't like I said. Sure, I would prefer a multi-goal win, but at the end of the day, let's just get a win. Gives us a shot to advance. I think they should be able to advance just with a win, regardless of goal differential. And in all honesty, that's what you want to see. You want to see them get a win. Let's face it. If this team doesn't, if they win and don't advance out of the group, is that a bad thing? Would having several weeks off to heal this banged up team and give Peter a chance to continue to implement his what he wants to do with the team? I'm not so sure that's such a bad thing. I'd rather see the team advance, of course. But so let's get the win, and then let's the cards fall where they will.
well, switching down to North Texas. North Texas had been in a 2-game winless streak, 2 losses actually in a row. It was a bit out of their character, as they have been just running rampant in MLS Next Pro. Of course, I'm sure that they're missing a few guys. They've had some guys get called up and spend time with the senior team with the injury issues going on. That surely has a part to play. But oh, the team needed a bounce back. They got crushed by Houston Dynamo Dos last week, and
Yeah,
Michelle was pretty
a
clear to
a
say,
bit of an upset. Yeah,
that score was not fair. That the team played better than that. It just Houston took their chances. But North Texas was back at home against St. Louis City 2, and they took care of business, and incredibly a credible goal from Inisali, the young phenom who is coming along nicely in his development, his
coming up,
acclimation.
he's he's gone from all of us saying he's a bust, a young player who can't see the minutes with the senior team, to now forcing his way into possible minutes into the senior team with his play at North Texas. This is the way. This is what this team was missing under Nico Estevez. Uh, uh, Basically, One of the biggest issues back when we had all the star players, Pepe and all the young players coming up, the big concern was a bottleneck in talent, and those young players simply not getting minutes. Now the younger players we have aren't at that talent level, but there was a bottleneck because Estevez refused to give the young players minutes. Now you're seeing with Lucen out there, you're seeing this team give young players minutes at the senior level and in North Texas, who continues to play academy kids. Two or three academy kids making a debut every week for the past
Mm.
3 weeks. It's something that this team has missed since Quill was here. Quill would play those kids, those academy kids, give them minutes, and I think it's up to like 38 players now that seen academy kids that have seen minutes this season. I may be wrong, or is that the duration of North Texas? I'm not sure, but it's a lot, and I'm there for it. This is what this team's lifeblood has been, and it's before Estevez showed up. This was the identity of this team, and they lost that identity. And I'm, for one, watch North Texas, watch these academy kids get minutes. This is the lifeblood of this team. This is what this team was always known for, and I am so happy they're back to it because they're the future of this club.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a nice rebound effort for North Texas, as Michelle, the new head coach is getting his feet under him in that role. I think figuring the squad out, adjusting, but a lot of quality in that roster. But in Asali, I think you're right. It's just a matter of time. And in fact, I asked him that. I asked in the post game. I just said, "Hey, what do you want first team coaches to see?" And he just said, I want them to see that I'm putting in the effort. I'm putting in the work day in, day out to be better and to do what I can to help these teams. And when I asked Coach Michelle about it, he said, and Nasali's the kind of player where you never know what you're going to do when he has the ball, and that's such an asset for a coach to have. The kind of guy you want to have on a team who can keep the defense, your opponents guessing throughout. So
And let's remind everybody that while he's currently on his tear at MLS Next Pro, it was Tariq Scott that was on a tear earlier in the season, who then basically played himself onto the senior team. You're seeing Enes Ali doing the exact same thing now that Tariq Scott is gone from North Texas and is with the senior team. You're seeing he's picked up the baton, and now he's showing that, frankly, he's too good for that level and deserves to play at a higher level. Now it's time to give him minutes with the senior team and see if he can make that jump. That's not guaranteed. We saw it with Mulatto, not a guarantee. Tyre Scott made it, Mulatto didn't, and we've seen other guys from North Texas fail to make the jump. Enes Sali is earning that
yeah.
opportunity. He's showing that, hey, I'm too good for this level. Let me see what I can do at the higher level, and why not?
Well, good. Well, unfortunately, we're going to leave it here. I'm getting the looks for dinner time, and but thanks, Jose. It's good to see you.
Hey, good to see you too.
Quick predictions for Wednesday night against Juarez. I'm going to go
Uh,
with a 2-0 win at home.
I'm gonna go with a 3-1, 3-1, and that one is gonna be like a fluke goal. I think it's it, I just think with this team focusing more on attack, you know, of late, I think they're vulnerable for a counter, and so I think 3-1 is my
All right,
prediction.
good, good
All right,
stuff. Well, thanks everybody. Thanks for listening in. And of course, we'll post the audio tomorrow morning. You can subscribe wherever you find podcasts, and of course, follow us on Afterburn.soccer for coverage and everything. So, in the meanwhile, go FC Dallas, go North Texas. Thanks, Jose.